Alrighty, so this is my finals match for Gi at the Good Fight tournament. As I was walking out, I was just trying to get the sweat off my feet. Those mats were really slippery, so trying to make sure I had good traction. The guy I was fighting ended up being a really good competitor. We had two really good matches, finals in Gi and Nogi, so I had definitely had some fun with him for sure. From the beginning, I'm looking to establish my grips. I'm not much of a stand-up guy, so I was looking to pull guard, which you'll see here, and shot straight into an armbar. It was pretty deep, but he did the right thing and sacrificed position because the submission was definitely there. So here I've got him in mount, and he's on his side, and my feet are crossed underneath him and behind him, which is going to make it really difficult for him to escape here. Part of the problem, however, is that it mandates my knees be clamping down on him. So I'm going for a wrist lock right here, but I couldn't get both hands in time. Mandates my base be narrower, so I have to keep that right hand of mine on the mat to stay based pretty much the whole time. So that's why I hesitated on that wrist lock, because I was afraid that he would bridge and roll me as soon as I picked that up. So here I'm looking to try to get inside his lapel, maybe go for like a paper cutter style choke, stuff the head, but he's wise to it. He's doing a really good job pushing me with his head and keeping that head pressure to where I can't get my hands in. So we reset just because we were at the end of the mat. When I retook mount, it felt a little different. I don't know why, but it just didn't feel as tight to me. But I managed to reach back here in a second. He started to get that leg flat, and I reach back and pull his leg to where I get my foot underneath him again where I want it. So right here, I'm looking to go for an Ezekiel choke. I don't know if you saw me sneak that right hand into beside his neck, but he defended it. He put his head down, so there's no point in cranking on it and wasting my strength. Right from the get-go of the match, I set kind of a aggressive pace with it. So right now I need to be slowing down a little bit and thinking and making him make mistakes. So as he's turning out, there were a couple times here where he bridges hard and tries to turn to that side. Here I go for the Ezekiel choke again, but he's wise to it. So there are a couple times that he's going to be bridging where I felt like he might have given me his back had I let him have a little more space, so that's something that I can think about for later. But I'm basically trying to just stabilize mount because I've been in it for about 3 minutes now, and I'm trying to just wear him down, maybe have a little war of attrition on his mental game here. So he bridges and he rolls, and I could have based, but I saw that left arm of his in and thought I could stuff it for the triangle, but that didn't work. So we ended up in kind of a little scramble. I should have stood there, should have done a technical stand-up, but I didn't. So we ended up in half guard with me flat on my back. I've got his left leg trapped in my half guard. Right here, I've got that grip on his lapel behind his neck, and I'm looking to try to get that hand in front of his face, but like I said, he's doing an excellent job of keeping his head positioning to where it's hard for me to get the grip on the lapel like I want. My goal here would be to clear my arm over the other side of his head. Here, I let go and elect to try to reach back and grab the belt because he was so loaded up on top of me, but I missed the belt, and that was a wasted opportunity for the choke there. So I come back to about half butterfly here. Could have got my leg free. Yep, there it is to full guard, and I've got his posture broken down. Here I'm trying to load him up. You'll see me just trying to challenge his base every once in a while. Same side grip, was looking maybe for a scissor sweep here, but I got a little slow on it, and he stands up with both. So here I swim for my overhook lapel grip. So I've got an overhook on his right arm with my left, and I'm grabbing his left lapel with my left arm with that cross grip. And that's a very powerful grip. I'm looking for a choke here off of it. You've got arm bars from there, triangles, the chokes. I've got to give it to Isaiah, was my competitor's name. He was excellent in the defense. His head positioning, his hip angles, everything was just perfect enough to shut me down on the attacks. So I'm still holding on to that grip. That's a really beneficial grip for me, and he can't do anything until he gets that arm free. So this is a really good position for me, so I'm going to try to hold this for a little bit. You'll see I'm walking the feet up to the hips. I'm looking for that arm bar on that side now, but you see he puts all the weight on that right arm, which allows him to keep it bent. I've got my hand, the grip, and the lapel. I'm trying to do that choke, that cross choke there. But now I grab the pant grip, and I was looking for a pendulum sweep, but you see what he does. He puts his right foot up, which is going to stuff that attempt. So, again, excellent defense from a really bad position, especially after having been basically underneath of a dominant position for the first 5 minutes of this match, and then straight into close guard. So I've got my feet on his hips here. I'm trying to use that to challenge his base for one, and also to create my hip angles to keep that overhook tight, and to be able, if he starts to pull that arm, to be able to get my hip angle to take that cutting arm bar there. See, I keep trying to reach across my face, reach across his face, and drive his head to the side for that cross choke with my elbow. And there again, I'm looking for the pendulum sweep or the flower sweep here, but he's doing a really good job of basing into it. As far as the triangle goes, I would be stuffing his left arm, but he's got it bound up in my hips. So again, every little micro position that he's got is doing an excellent job of stuffing my body positioning. Here we had a phone call come in, so the camera went off for a second because it was just my phone. Here again, I'm looking to try to get over top to his belt. I didn't realize that both our belts were kind of completely useless at this point. I was trying to grab that belt so I can start to load him up over the top and take him over to my left side. But again, that's not going to happen. So here, I actually have the cross choke, but I wasn't deep enough behind his lapel for it. And then as I go to adjust, he stuffs it and goes right into it. When he had that left leg up, that would have been a good opportunity for me to try that pendulum sweep again, but I was a little slow on it. So here he starts to get his arm out, so I'm abandoning the position and trying to go to a Kimura here. Again, I've got my overhooking arm in the correct position, but he's binding my support arm, the one that's going to the wrist, up. So I'm trying to feed my lapel to the hand that's through. That's why I put it in my mouth there for a second, but he was doing a good job of staying tight. Again, we're trying for the belt. I saw his compression shorts, and that's what I thought his belt was, so that's why I thought it was still there. But right here, I'm just going to be like pulling his skirt over his head, and it's not going to do much here. So into open guard position, then try to close guard again quickly. Here I'm looking for an arm bar on his left arm, but again, it doesn't look like much, but he's keeping that elbow tight. Shoot for a triangle here, but I just couldn't reel him in. So he goes double unders. I'm trying for a shoulder lock on his left shoulder, but he pulled his hand back before I could get my second foot deep. So again, every little defense, every little movement he's doing is defending extremely well. I actually made a mistake here reaching my left arm across to his hip because I'm basically like feeding him a darce when I do that. I was keeping good head position. You see, I lean my head back when I realize that he's starting to threaten it. But a lot of times from half guard, I'll let people start to come to the darce so I can, we call it like the cockroach sweep. So here I'm going for old school, but he's basing out, so I try to bring him the other way, just constantly looking to compromise his base. And then I'm coming up like I'm trying to come out to his back. Step on his foot here. That's a little detail that I learned from my black belt. Stepping on the foot is a really great way to keep them from pulling that leg out, and it still allows you to move your hips. So I shoot deep half here, and you see I've got my left arm through, hiding from the Kimura, but he already got the grip before I got my arm in, so his hand was underneath. So he's got a Kimura, trying for a Kimura grip. He had it for a second, and he's letting go now. I was looking for a waiter sweep, and then he compromised his base, so I did a back roll. I should have done a shoulder roll there and gone for the back, but kind of in transition, I just got lost a little bit. So we're back to half guard here. With that left hand, I'm looking for a loop choke. If he starts to put his head down towards my center line, then that's going to be a pretty easy loop choke finish for me. But again, his head positioning is really good. He really understands the nuances of keeping his body in a correct position. So right here, he's going to try to, I think, thread the leg. No, I guess he reverse sits to it and gets the leg free, but I spin back in and regard. I'm going reverse De La Hiva here, and I'm looking to go Kiss of the Dragon, but he collapses his hips before I can get mine up, which is perfect. Isaiah, again, is his name. He's a really excellent competitor. One of the toughest, most technical guys that I fought. I fought guys that have beat me before, just using wrestling, and that's always a bummer to me, just being stronger and, you know, better wrestler beats me. But Isaiah, absolutely Jack Diesel with the technique. So I've got my underhook on his leg, going deep into half guard, and I've got that sleeve grip. He breaks the grip. I was hoping I'd be able to use that grip because I had both his sides combined into a back roll, but he beat me to it. So I put my butterfly hook in here, and I'm trying to gonna try to flip him, but I think he does an excellent job of back stepping out. Yeah, so I come to my knees. Right here, knee bars are legal in this tournament, so I'm rolling right through, looking for the knee bar. And also slicers, so calf slicers and bicep slicers are all legal. So when he triangles his legs, or he takes his opposite foot, his left foot, and beats that knee bar with it, so he's stuffing me from the knee bar, so I go straight to the slicer. To finish that slicer, I'm going to have to get my butt kind of at a square angle to his knee, so I'm not really in the best position right now for it, but frankly I was kind of taking a rest, and I think he was too here, because neither one of us were in danger, but I mean, I was of him coming up into a leg drag, but right now I'm just going to rest for a minute because my grips are definitely exhausted from that overhook lapel control that I had to fight off for so long, or not fight off, but fight to keep for so long. So he's doing a good job tangling the legs up. I go De La Hiva here, I think, after I go reverse. Yeah, so I try to go reverse, looking for a tripod sweep, and then I go back to De La Hiva. Yep, he does a good back step pass and gets the legs free. I just slowed him down with that hook, which I think frazzled him enough for me to have the space to turn in. That roll, I was looking to try to catch his leg. I was hoping he'd step in because it seemed like he was starting to take like the more aggressive roll. So here, he's just trying to pass, but I've kind of got both his legs bound up. I think he actually does pass here. Yeah, and he gets his Kimura grip. With that Kimura grip, because of the way his hips were, he was sitting on his hips and not his knees, so I wasn't worried. So I stuffed that, and I was ideally hoping to stuff that leg, but here I do a back roll and then come back to turtle. If I wasn't so tired, usually I would try to peek out on his left side, my right side here. But I was still just kind of taking a break, trying to relax a little bit here. I didn't feel like he was as aggressively attacking the turtle as he was the half guard, and he pulls my gi back over my head for me. I actually thanked him for that. I think you can hear in the video because that was miserable. But yeah, so he's attacking the turtle, but I have a pretty tight turtle. I don't very often get my back taken. So I was trying to make sure that I could just sit there and rest for a minute, and just waiting for a chance to roll through, kind of feeling him out, seeing when he's going to overcommit his weight, and just checking his base right there every once in a while, just to see what I've got. He should have gone foot in the hips here instead of the back, and that allows me to roll back through. Looking for a De La Hiva kind of tripod sweep position, ankle lock here. So I get my grips. I started to extend too quickly, so I realized that, and I came back. to readjust my grip. However, when I readjusted my grip, he was able to get that lapel grip. In gi, ankle locks for me are much lower percentage than they are in Nogi because they can just whore that lapel, which he's doing a great job of doing. He was definitely in danger. I talked to him after the match. Again, he's a really nice guy too, but he said the only thing that saved him was that lapel grip, and that even with that, it was tight. So I kind of come up and try to transition it to a knee bar. It doesn't work, so I'm sitting back through and hit him with the tried to hit him with the silverback sweep. The position changed, however, and I was able to roll back into this kind of. I'm in a leg drag right now, but I've got my arm underneath, so I'm threatening a knee bar here. But again, I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of rest, because with the way that my legs are crossed and my arms underneath, it's going to be hard for him to bring his right knee into that space and go to dope mount or to solidify a pass, so he's not going to be able to get his leg free or bring the other leg in. So I'm kind of just taking this chance to rest for a minute. Something that he could have been doing, he could have been threatening chokes here to get me to think about the chokes instead of the legs. So the camera guy's just repositioning here. Same position and everything. So yeah, he could definitely be looking for chokes here. I'm using my left arm to frame with to keep his pressure off. And then I'm sliding that knee back in to go to double butterfly and then ashikarami. Should have took the single leg sweep right there, swung my left knee in to get to my side. That would have given me a better position. And he immediately grabs my lapel, so I just abandon the ankle lock attempt and start to go to a knee slice pass. He did a good job of getting his knee in front of me, and he did to me what I do to all my students. He did a cockroach sweep right underneath, so that was perfect. That was excellent timing, good positioning, all that worked really well. So I go back to turtle here after a little scramble. And he's looking to pick me up here and slip a hook
good,
in.
Spencer. Keep it up.
So I'm just trying to stay tight. Again, I'm very tired at this point from the beginning of the match, and he definitely has the better cardio. I will say that he is in better shape than I am, for sure. So he's kind of pushing the pace during the last part of this.
Your shin in the space between his thigh and his heel.
He starts trying to drive the knee in, but I'm blocking it with my right elbow to my hip, staying really tight there. It's going to be hard for him to find that space unless he unweights me. So that's what he tries to do right there. So I'm turning in. He's going for a back take attempt here. He gets his cross collar grip right there. And he's going for a bow and arrow choke. The things that stopped him from being able to finish this is I stopped him from getting a deep enough lapel grip during that transition, so I had space between my neck, and I'm also, with my legs and shoulders, slightly pushing my left shoulder back and into his knee, which is binding his weight, which is forcing his weight onto his right knee, so he's not going to be able to pick it up and come over my shoulder like he wants to. He realizes this and abandons the position, trying to go to a 3/4 mount and get me flattened out. So I ride him up, extend him with the hook, and then the knee bar's right there as I finish. So it was a very quick finish to a very exciting and I think good and technical match from both of us. So I definitely was looking to compete against him again in Nogi. That was one of his coaches, CJ Murdoch, on the side asking about the knee bar, if it was legal in this tournament, which it is. I do like the rule set of this tournament. It really opens stuff up for good subs at a sub-only tournament. Thanks for watching.
I thought you could always knee bar blue belt. No? Huh? Yeah. Weird, and then Nogi equivalent.